So hi, hello and welcome. Today in this video I'm going to talk about the cell theory and let's start off here. There are a couple of interesting points that I'd like to share with you today. So the topic is the cell theory. It's one of those big theories in the field of biology, one of the so-called unifying theories, because all living things are made of cells. And the cell theory itself is again made of three important parts here that I've listed over here. Oh, well, you know what? Why not go through it one by one? Okay. First one part is that all living things are made of cells. All living things, even those that we have not discovered yet, we know that they too are made of cells. You don't even have to put them under the microscope. I already know in advance, or we already know in advance, that these plants and animals and creatures are also made of cells. And over here, another one of the cell theory, cells are the basic unit of life. What does this mean? Well, half a cell is a dead cell. It's not able to live. And if you look into a cell using a microscope, and if you see movement going on inside the cell, then those parts that make up the cell, those parts themselves are not alive, even though they move. Okay, it's just the whole cell that is considered alive. And the last part is cells can only come from pre-existing cells. And usually when I say that, then this begs the question. People want to know, well, what about the first cell? Okay, what about the first? It's kind of like a little bit like the chicken and egg problem. What was the first, the chicken or the egg? And if cells can only come from pre-existing cells, then what about the first cell? Well, I have to tell you that the first cell, of course, must have come from non-living material. Yeah, but nowadays we do not observe this. So it's not like this that we have, I don't know, I'm looking around in nature and I see cells popping up all over the place. No, you need to have a cell there first, which then reproduces, divides, and then you have a second cell. Okay, so the cell theory essentially was not just invented overnight by one person and then he woke up or she woke up and then all of a sudden came up with that, but actually it was a lot of people were involved here, and over the years pieces were put together. And nowadays we know that this is indeed the case, and some people are now might say, well, that's kind of strange. I mean, all living things are made of cells. How can I know that? I mean, if I have not found all living things yet, how can I make a prediction like this? And I gotta tell you, good point. But that's the whole point of a theory. A theory is there to predict, make a prediction. And a theory remains true until proven wrong. So if you say, well, if you have certain doubts about this one here, that all living things are made of cells, okay, go ahead. Grab a microscope, bring them on. Show me a living thing that's not made of cells. The game is on. It's your job to do that now, okay? So far, nobody was able to show that. So the theory has stood the test of time, as I like to say, and it has not yet been falsified. So theories have to be testable, and it has been tested all over again and over again. And so far, nobody has found a living thing that is not made of cells. So this is a little bit the interesting thing here. Other things like, what about the following? Do cells need oxygen? Or all cells move? Is this that's not part of a cell theory. The cell theory is really only limited to those three important points here. So however, of course, look at this here, exceptions. I don't like the word exceptions really so much. Maybe the word special case would be better. But there are a couple of interesting special cases here where we have living things, living organisms that really look a little bit strange. They don't quite look like they're made of cells or of several cells. Like, for example, this guy over here. Yeah, what in the world? Acetabularia. This is a green algae that's found in water. And it's about 10 centimeters tall, about this size, okay? Seen from the top, it looks a little bit like, I don't know, like a round mushroom from the top. And when scientists looked at this, again, this is pretty huge. How many cells did they find? They found one single nucleus. One nucleus. Normally you would expect, the green algae, it's a green algae, you would expect them to be made of many cells. And they found one nucleus. So actually, strictly speaking, it's a single-celled organism. And this size, okay? This doesn't look normal, you know? Yeah, you see there is still some kind of a cellular nature, some kind of a cellular component is of course there, but normally we would expect organisms of this size to be made of multiple cells. You know, so it's kind of strange. So that's the one over here. This is Yeah, the thing that belongs here. Yeah, green algae is a second one I want to show you. You don't even have to go very far. It's in your own body, in your muscles, okay? It's skeletal muscles, okay, that you see over here. Yeah, these are basically, or striated muscles. These are the things that the fibers that contract to make us move. You see all of those dots here that you see in here? Those dots, it's the nuclei. Yeah. How many cells do you have? Well, those cells are actually fused together. So this is actually one cell. So cells can be 30 centimeters long. I don't know, you cannot see it right now. It's pretty large. Yeah. 30 centimeters long, one cell. Well, or actually, are these many cells which are kind of fused together, having hundreds of nuclei? This doesn't really look normal, does it? Huh? So those muscle fibers, they actually don't appear to be like being made of multiple cells. It's like one huge cell maybe containing hundreds of nuclei. Yeah. So skeletal muscle is the second one over here. And the last one is so-called aseptate fungi. A certain fungi also look a little bit strange in the sense, and I now need to make a drawing here. Okay. Basically, these are fungi. Fungi have very long thread-like hyphae and cells, basically, but here it's a little bit different. They're long, yeah, and basically what there are hundreds of nuclei in here. Okay, so is this not basically one cell, or are these also multiple cells kind of fused together? Okay, again here when it branches off, each dot here, hundreds of many nuclei in here. Yeah? There are different type of fungi that have those septae, and the septae are basically those where the individual cells, yeah, are separated. You see it over here, right? Well, then it's kind of clear. I mean, there's a nucleus in here, there's a nucleus in here. Okay, that's fine. I get it. These are cells. Okay, but what about these here? Is this one cell now, or are these many cells fused together? What is it? It doesn't really fit quite well. Our what we think of cells, and that's the reason why. I wouldn't say exceptions, but kind of special cases, really, where the cells don't quite look, or the organisms don't look like they're made up of multiple cells. Yeah. So that's basically all I wanted to kind of share with you today. 3 examples of organisms or living things where the cells look a little bit different, and then again over here the important parts of the cell theory, that all living things are made of cells. Let me move it over here. Cell being the basic unit of life, you need at least one full cell for it to be considered alive, and cells cannot simply appear out of non-living material. You have to have cells in order to make more cells. Chicken egg problem, I know. The first cell must have been, again here, an exception. So I'm going to leave it at that now. I wish you all the best, and see you in the next video. Bye.